There's something magical about watching a world heal itself piece by piece. Keeper begins with a simple act of light cutting through overwhelming darkness, and from there you're drawn into a quiet adventure that speaks volumes without saying a single word. I'll start by breaking down what you can expect from the game mechanics, or you can skip ahead to my final thoughts and ratings. But as the lighthouse awakens and takes its first steps, you can't help but wonder, how far would you go to keep the light alive? On an island forgotten by time, a darkness is spreading, consuming life and destroying the land as it moves. The only surviving bird from a recent attack on a flock lands near a lighthouse, and is quickly saved by the cleansing light that radiates from it. Gradually, the lighthouse begins to grow legs and move around. With this newfound life, you'll need to control the lighthouse and work with your new bird friend to explore the island and push the darkness back. While going through the game, you will be accompanied by a friendly bird named Twig. Twig is a very strong bird who will assist you with various puzzles. Since you only have legs, there are many times when the ability to grab objects is your only option. At your command, Twig can fly over to adjust levers or move large objects out of the way. However, Twig won't be doing everything. Many puzzles require teamwork. Between your light beam and Twig's grasping abilities, you can go quite far. As you progress, you'll face many dangerous situations, often causing irreparable damage to your lighthouse body. Thanks to the power of magic, love, or some other supernatural force, you'll adapt and take on different forms, opening all sorts of new avenues of movement and abilities. This was a great way to keep the game lively and engaging, with fresh environments to explore and puzzles to solve. This was a game told through beautiful visuals and no words. It's a short, cute game with no sinister surprises that the kids wanted to watch. And it definitely deserves its E rating. They could even play it, and you could sit nearby to watch, maybe even help with some of the more complex puzzles. I'd let my kids be involved if they wanted to. I would love to hear any thoughts or questions you have about the game or my review. Please leave a message in the comments below. And while you do that, let's move on to my final thoughts and ratings. Keeper may have been a short game, but it was full of stunning visuals and made inanimate objects feel alive. I enjoyed the entire experience from start to finish, solving puzzles and figuring out how to move a lighthouse. I only got a little stuck once and had to backtrack, but overall it was a very smooth journey. I wouldn't mind if the puzzles became a bit more challenging, but for the target audience, they were just right. The various color palettes used in the different environments were fascinating to explore, almost like they came straight from a cheerful imagination with vibrant colors and strange-looking creatures flying around. At times, they were darker, but still fun, with a more sinister vibe and a heavier sense of darkness. The visuals were very well executed for this game. The story wasn't straightforward. Not a single word was spoken, and much had to be interpreted. However, it didn't feel like the kind of game that required deep thinking to understand. I'm not saying that you couldn't if you wanted to, but I like to think it was a simple tale of light versus darkness and the perseverance needed to overcome. Learning to play a lighthouse was both simple and unique, with very few buttons to remember. And it was quite difficult to get lost given how the chapters were set up. It was a lot of fun to play with different forms as I progressed, each shape coming with its own environment to explore, full of new problems and solutions to discover. However, as enjoyable as this game was, I don't see much replayability value. There were some hidden collectibles off the beaten path, like statues that could form and almost tell a story. Aside from that, I'm content with just one playthrough. If I ever want to revisit, the game does allow starting from any of the many chapters. I really like this game, but it's so short there isn't a lot to talk about, so without further ado, let's get these ratings underway and place it on a shelf. The visuals were awesome. Excellent color choice and unique environments, that's a 5. The story could be simple or complicated. It's up to the players to decipher that. I enjoyed it, but not a fan of coming up with my own stuff to create the story. That's a 2. The gameplay was simple and worked quite well. Some puzzles got a little repetitive, but still a joy to get through. I'll give it a 4. hardly any replayability. A great game to complete once and set aside for a while, earning it a 1. A lot of fun getting through the game. I enjoyed playing with the lighthouse and Twig, exploring a very unique island. It's a 4. Earning Keeper an average score of 3.2 out of 5. Giving it a spot on my top shelf. This was a great indie game to play, and I would definitely recommend checking it out if you get the chance. It's just too bad it doesn't have much replay value after a single playthrough. But that doesn't mean you wouldn't feel like revisiting it after a year or two. It's short enough to finish in one night if you're up for it. You can also check out some of my past reviews to find something else great to spend your time with. Just look at the playlists on the left, full of games I'm sure you'll enjoy.